The locker room still smelled like sweat and Gatorade when we walked into the lounge. The win was clean, 35-10. We dominated from the first snap. Guys were pumped. Music was blasting. Staff, friends, families were filing in with drinks in hand, laughter echoing off the walls. It was one of those nights you remember for the right reasons. Until I saw it. Amanda was already there, front and center like she owned the place. She wore that red dress, the one that clung to her like heat, and a grin that didn't belong to a coach's wife. I saw her standing next to Marcus Hale, 28, star wide receiver, cocky as hell and too smooth for his own good. At first, I thought she was just being social. That was her thing. Charming, talkative, good with the guys. But then she leaned in close, said something in his ear, and laughed like a teenager. His hand brushed her lower back. She didn't flinch. I felt it before I saw it. She slapped him. Right on the ass. Not a joke slap. Not playful. No, it was confident. Deliberate. Her hand lingered. Then came the wink. Not to me. To him. And Marcus? He grinned like he'd just scored another touchdown. I didn't blink. Didn't flinch. Just turned away. Nobody else seemed to notice, or maybe they pretended not to. I walked back out the way I came, past the noise and congratulations, through the hallway that led to my office. I didn't stop. Didn't grab my coat. Didn't say a word. Out in the parking lot, the cool night air hit me like a slap of its own. My car was parked near the edge of the lot, far from the lights. I got in, started the engine, and sat there for a minute, staring at the empty passenger seat. I wasn't going to yell. Wasn't going to confront. Not yet. But something inside me had already shifted. I knew Marcus. Knew how he operated. Knew exactly where to hit him, and it wouldn't be with fists. I'd spent my whole life building careers. Now, I was about to learn what it felt like to dismantle one. I drove off, leaving Amanda behind. Let her enjoy the champagne, the cameras, the crowd. Let Marcus enjoy the attention. Neither of them knew it yet, but the game had just changed. And I wasn't going to say a damn word about it. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the dark living room long after the headlights disappeared from the street outside. Amanda came home just before midnight, heels clicking against the floor like she didn't have a care in the world. She didn't ask where I'd gone. Didn't knock on the guest room door. Just crawled into our bed like nothing had happened. That told me everything I needed to know. By morning, I wasn't angry. Anger is loud. This was something quieter. Sharper. Like a blade sliding out of its sheath. I started small. I reviewed the team footage, not just the games, but the behind-the-scenes clips we kept for internal use. Walkthroughs, training drills, locker room cams. I wasn't looking for plays. I was looking for them. The signs were all there. Lingering touches. Private jokes. The way Amanda made sure to bring extra snacks on days Marcus trained late. I caught a moment where she brushed a speck of dirt off his cheek. Soft, slow, like a wife, not a fan. I clipped it. Saved the timestamp. Moved on. Back in 2001, I broke my collarbone in college ball and missed a full season. Sat on the sidelines and watched my spot get taken by a guy who wasn't half as good, but who smiled better for the scouts. That's when I learned, talent doesn't win games. Leverage does. Amanda thought she was being clever. But this wasn't her game. This was mine. Midweek, I called my old college roommate, Jackson. He runs a private security business now, deals in surveillance setups, background checks, digital forensics. You installing cameras or catching a rat? He asked. Both, I said. He didn't ask questions after that. By Thursday night, I had 4 new cameras hidden throughout the house. Bedroom, hallway, kitchen, garage, motion triggered, cloud synced. She'd never notice. They were smaller than a coin. I also put a recorder in Amanda's car. Not because I didn't trust her. Because I knew I couldn't. Friday morning at practice, Marcus was unusually upbeat. Coach, he said, jogging up beside me. Look, if this is about the snaps last week. It's not. I cut him off. He hesitated. You sure? I looked at him, long enough to make him uncomfortable. Then I turned back to the field. Focus on your routes, Marcus. Let me worry about the rest. But I knew something was up. He was too relaxed, too confident. And sure enough, in the locker room later, I caught part of his conversation with one of the backup quarterbacks. She's into me, man. Like into me. You should have seen how she looked at me last night. You think I care that she's married? That dude's old school. All control, no heat. Trust me, he's not hitting that. Laughter. My ears burned. Not from jealousy. From calculation. Because that little speech? It was being recorded. That night, I reviewed the locker room audio. Played it back twice. I didn't smile. I didn't flinch. I saved the file to a new folder. Evidence. Around 10 p.m., Amanda walked into the kitchen in one of those thin robes she saves for special occasions. She poured herself a glass of wine and leaned against the counter, smiling like a woman without secrets. "Everything okay?" she asked. "Just tired," I said, without looking up. She moved closer, trailing her fingers across my shoulders. I didn't react. "You've been quiet lately," she said. "Distant. I've had a lot on my mind." She nodded like she understood. Kissed my cheek. "Don't work too late." Then she walked off, hips swaying like a dare. As soon as she was out of sight, I pulled out my phone and checked the new motion alerts. The camera in the garage had caught her earlier that day, Marcus's car pulling in for 5 minutes. Just 5. No bags. No conversation. Just her and him. Timestamp saved. Face clear. Location exact. I stared at the screen. The man had walked into my house. Into my garage. My blood ran cold. Marcus didn't know it yet, but his countdown had started. At Monday's practice, I changed the drill structure. Conditioning first, then scrimmage, then full contact simulation. We usually spaced them out. Gave time for recovery. But not today. Marcus was running double the distance of any other receiver on the field. He didn't complain. Hell, he probably thought I was testing him. Proving something. The kid was proud. Too proud to sit out. Again, I barked as he came out of a route, winded. "Coach, that was 6 in a row. Then make the 7th perfect." He nodded, chest rising and falling like a piston, and jogged back to the line. I wasn't reckless. I wasn't out to injure him on purpose. But I knew exactly what his weak spots were. His left ankle had been taped twice last season. He'd taken a helmet to the ribs in preseason but refused to sit. Tough kid, but not invincible. I made sure every play put pressure on those zones. High routes that forced him to stretch. Cuts that tested lateral movement. Every time he planted wrong, I noticed the flinch. By the end of the week, Marcus was limping into the locker room. He still smiled. Still flirted with Amanda at the sidelines. But I knew that limp. That was fear creeping in. Amanda started noticing something was off. She didn't say it, not directly, but the way she watched me from across the room had changed. She'd ask about Marcus casually. "How's he doing?" "He looked a little sore last game." I'd shrug. "He'll bounce back." At night, she was quieter. Less daring. Less smug. She brought me coffee in the mornings now, like she used to. That was the thing about Amanda, she could sense a power shift, even before she knew what caused it. After week 2 of increased loads, Marcus pulled up on a sprint route holding his leg. Hamstring. Nothing torn, but tight enough to sideline him for the next game. I nodded at the team medic. "Rest him. 2 weeks minimum." Marcus shot me a look from the bench, equal parts confusion and panic. I didn't return it. I was already moving on to the next drill. That night, Amanda waited for me in the kitchen again. She had wine, soft music playing, a candle burning on the table. "We haven't talked in days," she said gently. "You've been somewhere else." "I've been coaching." Her lip twitched. "Marcus is out." "Yeah." She studied me for a long moment. "You think he's faking it?" I turned to her, slow and steady. "I think people get hurt when they overreach. When they think they're invincible." Her eyes flickered. She took a step back. "I didn't mean." "I know what you meant," I said, and walked past her. At practice, Marcus pushed through rehab like a man chasing shadows. He didn't want to lose momentum. But something had shifted. His acceleration was off. His confidence was cracking. I sent in a new rookie for a scrimmage drill. Kid ran tight, quick, caught 2 deep balls like a magnet. I clapped him on the shoulder. "Keep that up." Marcus watched from the sideline, a towel over his neck, jaws clenched. He knew. The Sharks were circling. Amanda didn't bring up Marcus again. Not at dinner. Not in bed. She stopped showing up to practice. Stopped flirting around staff. She didn't apologize. She didn't confess. But she did start watching me again like I was a stranger she couldn't quite read. Good. Let her wonder. Let them both wonder. The worst punishment isn't pain. It's silence. The second injury didn't look bad at first. It happened during a Wednesday red zone drill. Marcus pushed off too hard on a cut, slipped on the turf, and landed awkwardly on his right knee. Nothing dramatic. No loud pop, no scream. But I saw the way he didn't get up right away. The trainers ran over. I stood still, arms crossed, expression blank. Swelling around the patella, one of them told me quietly. "Could be a sprain, maybe a tear. We'll need scans." I gave a short nod. Pull him from all contact. Rehab only. Marcus avoided my eyes as he limped off the field. That evening, I stood on the deck behind the house, sipping a beer, watching the sun dip behind the trees. Amanda slid the screen door open and stepped out barefoot. You heard? She asked. I didn't look at her. About Marcus? Yeah. She waited. No reaction. No follow-up. Just that silence between two people who once knew each other better than anyone. You think he'll be back before playoffs? She finally asked. I don't know. She bit her lip. He's a good player. I turned to her then, just slightly. Was. She flinched. By Friday, the MRI confirmed a partial meniscus tear. 6 weeks minimum. I delivered the news personally. Take care of yourself, I said. Focus on healing. We'll manage. Marcus blinked. That's it. That's it. He hesitated. Did I do something, coach? I looked at him then. Really looked. You ever hear the saying, don't piss in the river you drink from? He paled. I walked away. That weekend, I called a contact of mine, Ryan Geller, an old college buddy turned family lawyer. The kind who knows where the cracks in the system are and how to widen them. I might need to set some things in motion, I said. Marriage or money? Both. He didn't laugh. Tell me everything. I gave him the essentials. No drama, no embellishment. Just facts. Amanda's behavior. The affair. The surveillance. The risk to my finances, my house, my name. You got documentation? Every damn bit. Then we're already ahead. Amanda knocked on my office door that night, something she rarely did. Can we talk? I motioned to the chair. She sat, crossing her legs, eyes uncertain. I feel like you're angry with me, she started. I didn't respond. I don't know what I did, she added, carefully. I stared at her. Let the silence stretch until it turned into a wall. You sure about that? I asked finally. She blinked, startled. I mean, if something's wrong, I want to fix it. I leaned back. That's the thing, Amanda. Some things don't get fixed. They get exposed. She looked like she'd been slapped. I don't know what you're talking about, she said too quickly. I gave her a long, heavy look. You will. The next day, Amanda didn't leave the house. She didn't smile. Didn't text anyone in front of me. She started wearing old clothes again. Cooked breakfast without music. Looked over her shoulder more than once. Good. Fear was a teacher. At the facility, Marcus was off crutches but moving like a man 10 years older. His teammates had started pulling back, too. Whispers in the hall. A few sidelong glances. That's what happens when your stock drops. No one wants to catch the same disease. And just like that, he was isolated. Exactly where I wanted him. At night, I sat in my study, reviewing footage, listening to old audio, sorting files by date. Not because I needed more proof, but because I liked knowing I had it. Control. Power. Certainty. I used to love Amanda. Now, I just own the outcome. And I was just getting started. Amanda waited until the house was quiet. It was late, past midnight. I was in my study, the lamp casting long shadows across the desk, sifting through player reports I didn't care about. The door creaked open slowly. She stepped in barefoot, robe tied around her like armor. Can we talk? She asked, voice low. I didn't answer right away. Just closed the folder I was pretending to read. She sat on the edge of the couch across from me, folding her hands in her lap like a child waiting for punishment. I don't know what's happening between us, she said softly. But I don't want to lose this. Us. The kids. The life we built. Still, I said nothing. So she pushed harder. If I've done something wrong. I'm sorry. I leaned forward, elbows on my knees. You're sorry. Her eyes met mine. Wet, wide, desperate. I am. I pulled out a flash drive from the drawer and placed it gently on the table between us. Then let's make sure we're both clear on what, exactly, you're sorry for. She stared at the drive like it might explode. I don't need to see that, she whispered. But you will, I said, standing. I moved to the TV, plugged it in. A few clicks later, the screen flickered to life. Marcus's voice echoed into the room. She's into me, man. You think I care that she's married? Amanda's face drained of color. Then footage, the garage camera, time-stamped, Marcus entering, Amanda greeting him at the door. A kiss. Quick. Real. I didn't watch her. I watched the screen. She covered her mouth. Please stop, she said. I paused the video. Silence throbbed in the room. I could send this to the league, I said flatly. To every sports network. To the board. To your parents. But I won't. Why not? She whispered. I turned to her. Cold. Clean. Because I don't need revenge. I already won. Amanda sat frozen, shaking, tears slipping down her face without effort to hide them. I'll do anything, she said quietly. Just don't ruin everything. I tilted my head. You already did. She looked up, like a drowning woman reaching for a raft. What do you want from me? I smiled just a little. To stay quiet. To stay home. To be exactly what you pretend to be in front of our kids. No more games. No more lies. And don't ever try to take anything that belongs to me. Not the house. Not the team. Not the name. She nodded, trembling. Oh, I added, reaching for a folder. And sign this. It was a post-nup agreement, airtight. Written by Ryan. Reviewed 3 times. It gave her a place to live, access to the kids, and nothing else. No alimony. No cut of the team's profit. No legal claim to assets earned after year 5 of the marriage. Amanda stared at the papers like they were handcuffs. You said we weren't divorcing, she said hoarsely. We're not, I replied. This is control. That weekend, Marcus showed up at the training facility unannounced. I saw him from my office window, limping, wearing team gear, holding a medical release. Hope in his eyes. I waited until he knocked. Coach, he said, forcing a smile. I've been cleared. I'm ready to work. I know I messed up, but I held up a hand. Marcus, I said calmly. You're not coming back. His jaw tensed. I made one mistake. No, I cut him off. You made 2. You crossed the line as a player, and then you bragged about it like a fool. You had talent, but talent without discipline is dead weight. He didn't move. I'm not going to report anything, I continued. You can walk out of here with your name intact, or you can push this, and I'll make sure every scout in the league knows exactly who you are. Marcus's face crumbled, eyes wide with disbelief. You're ending my career over a woman? No, I said. Over my wife. He left without another word. Amanda watched from the kitchen window as his car disappeared. She didn't say a thing. She knew better now. That night, I slept like a rock. Not because I forgave her. Not because the damage was undone. But because I held every card now. And I'd never give that power up again. 3 months passed. The season ended strong, 12-4, deep into playoffs. The media praised my strategic pivots, calling me the calm inside the storm. They didn't know the storm lived in my house. At press conferences, Amanda still showed up sometimes. Smiling in black dresses, standing a step behind, just far enough to avoid the spotlight, but close enough to look like a supportive wife. Photos ran online. Coach Thomas and his wife, the power couple behind Houston's comeback season. I let them run. Let her wear the image like a mask. Let the world believe what it wanted. Behind closed doors, Amanda was quiet. She woke up early, made breakfast for the kids, kept the house clean, attended PTA meetings like a soldier on duty. No late-night texts. No visits to practice. No perfume that wasn't basic. She smiled less. Laughed less. She aged in months what others did in years. I didn't hit her. Didn't scream. Didn't shame her in front of our children. I didn't have to. She lived every day knowing one mistake, one wrong word, and I'd bury her without lifting a hand. At the facility, I hired a new assistant trainer. Mid-30s. Athletic. Smart. Green eyes that could read a man before he opened his mouth. Her name was Claire. We kept it professional, for the cameras. But on Thursdays, I stayed late. On Saturdays, I worked from the office. And once a month, I took recruiting trips that weren't always about football. Claire never asked about Amanda. Never tried to replace anything. She knew the score. So did I. At home, Amanda never asked where I'd been. She never asked about my phone, or my schedule, or why I stopped kissing her goodnight. She knew better. The kids were fine. I made sure of it. Coached my son's little league. Took my daughter to dance rehearsals. Smiled in family photos. Played my role when needed. But I didn't come back. Not really. That part of me stayed gone. And Amanda? She knew it. One evening, I caught Amanda staring at me across the dinner table. Not with love. Not with hate. With something in between, like she wanted to ask if this was forever, but already knew the answer. I didn't say anything. Just passed her the salt and kept eating. I'd rewritten the contract. Not just the legal one. The emotional one. Amanda could stay. Could wear the name. Could raise our kids in the house we built. But she no longer owned a piece of me. And Marcus? Last I heard, he was playing semi-pro ball in Canada. No endorsements. No interviews. A ghost in a jersey. Funny thing about burning bridges, you learn to enjoy the silence on the other side. Some nights I'd sit on the back porch with a cigar, watching the lights of the stadium across town. Claire would text something sharp, something teasing. Amanda would be inside, folding laundry in silence. I didn't feel guilt. Not anymore. I felt balance. Not forgiveness. Not revenge. Just equilibrium. I didn't burn it all down. I just rewrote the rules. And this time, I made sure they were mine.